Welcome back to the Weather Channel Special Climate Challenge. Reaction from around the world and the U.S. withdrawing from the Paris Climate Agreement. This from the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, saying, "We are deeply disappointed that the United States federal government has decided to withdraw from the Paris Agreement."
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders says when climate change is already causing devastating harm, we don't have the moral right to turn our backs on efforts to preserve this planet.
And Texas Senator Ted Cruz tweeting, "I applaud POTUS for putting American jobs and energy first by withdrawing the U.S. from the Paris Agreement." Well, all day we've been asking you to send in your questions as well. Our producer Brandon this evening behind the bar has some of those questions tonight. Brandon.
Yeah. First up is from Misty. Misty asks, how devastating would the economy have been if Trump had opted into the agreement instead?
This was something, I feel like this is something that's hard to quantify because we don't know exactly, but the argument was this is going to cost us too much. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a fundamental miscalculation. When you actually drill down to the specifics of the technologies and practices that are the solutions, what you see is economic upside after economic upside after economic upside.
It wasn't painted that way, though.
It was not. It was not. And I think for far too long, this has been the story that's been told, that it's either the economy or the environment. And what we know really clearly now is that these things are knit together in a positive way, not fighting against one another. And that's before you think about the cost of potential damages from climate change. So add in avoided destruction, and there's even more economic
And even
benefit.
during the break, we were talking about how some of these huge economic sectors, the food business for one, relatively simple, low-cost changes can have big positive impacts economically.
That's right. We often end up talking about energy when we're talking about addressing climate change. Based on our work, we see that the food sector has even more potential for climate impact. And these are things that either cost nothing, like reducing food waste, may even save households money at the end of the day, or they're things that are extremely low cost for farmers to implement, and they see a real upside in yield and revenue.
All right, we have more questions tonight.
Jake says, we know meteorology has become more active within the